1992 National Film Award for the Best Feature Film in Hindi, which was Dharavi. 2006 the Filmfare for Best Story Award for Hazaro Khwaishein Aisi. And a special mention, ladies and gentlemen, 2010 he receives his knighthood from the French government, the Order of Arts and Letters, which is actually an equivalent to the Sir title which is given by the British government. So let's hear it please for Mr. Sudhir Mishra. Very warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce you to a stunning actress who comes in from the very sweet city of Kolkata. Ladies and gentlemen, Rituparna Sen Gupta. Now, as we all know, she's made a niche for herself in Indian cinema, not only in Bengali cinema, but in the mainstream Bollywood cinema as well, and we are all her huge fans. An extremely talented performer, she's also an able dancer and a committed social worker, ladies and gentlemen. Let me also name a few of her decorations. 1995, she was awarded the Bharat Nirman Award. 1998, the Silver Lotus for Best Actress for The Hen. In the 42nd National Film Festival of India. 2000, the Anand Lok Ujala for the Best Actress, again for The Hen. 2000, the Anand Lok Ujala for the Best Supporting Actress. And 2004 and 2006, consecutively, she won the Bengal Film Journalist Association Award for the Best Actress. So let's hear it for the beautiful, gorgeous Ms. Gupta. Very warm welcome to you, and thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also joined by, let me say this way before I go any further. How many of you have seen Mahabharat? I think it's an epic that each one of us has seen. Ladies and gentlemen, she is the Ganga from Mahabharat. Please put your hands together for Ms. Kiran Juneja, a veteran Indian actress, ladies and gentlemen, and that is something that can never, I think, be erased from our memories, a memorable, superb role that we can remember. She has also made her mark in various movies like Sahi Dhande Galat Bande, Badmash Company, Chandi Chowk to China, Fashion, Jab We Met, Marigold, Khosla Ka Khosla, Krish, Panti Aur Babli, and yes, the Mahabharat. So, an eminent actress amongst us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for joining us today, ma'am. And now, if we have such an eminent panelist, ladies and gentlemen, it is very important that the moderator has to be par excellence. So let me introduce you to the moderator of this panel discussion. She has over 20 years of experience covering heartbreaking, sound-breaking stories with NDTV. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the editorial director, NDTV, Ms. Sonia Singh, who will be moderating this session. So, may I please invite the panelist and the moderator to now please join us on the stage to begin the discussion. Let's have a huge round of applause while we welcome the panelist on the stage, please. Welcome.
Good evening, and it's wonderful to be here with such an interesting panel with so many different perspectives to bring to this evening's topic, the portrayal of women in television and cinema, and especially timely when we are all discussing the influence and role of item numbers, but we need to look beyond to see in the last 100 years what a crucial role women have actually played in Indian cinema, how that's changed, and how in a sense does that reflect the society around us. And Kiranji, perhaps I could begin with you on that, because do you see it as life imitating art or the other way around? When we look at the portrayal of women in television and cinema, can we actually isolate that from the reality of life around us?
No, actually you can't, but it works both ways. Very often we see things in cinema which we say, oh, this is not believable, this only happens in movies. And yet sometimes in reality, in life, you see things which are far more bizarre. So we, as makers of movies and cinema, television, do pick up a lot from real life. But very often it is exaggerated, very often it is dramatized, just for the effect. But I think it works both ways.
In your own experience, in the roles you've played, because so often, especially in your television roles, the strength of the woman you portrayed was something many talked about. When you talk about Bunyad, when you talk about other roles you did in television, did you find a difference perhaps at the kind of reality or the strength a woman on television got and in cinema?
You know, it's been a very strange journey. When television started and when the satellite started, all the serials that were being showed, they were very bold, very modern. They were corporate women in most of the serials, short haircuts, smoking, very modernized. And the movies were showing Sati Savitri Naris, typical mothers, typical sisters. And from there came the transition into the Kyunki Saas Bhi kind of serials, where suddenly the daughter-in-laws had pallu on their heads and they were bending and touching their feet, and typical model role of how a daughter should be, how a daughter-in-law should be, how a mother should be, their perception. I don't think it's correct, but nevertheless. While that was happening in television, the movie suddenly changed, and the heroines of the movies and the actresses were suddenly far bolder, playing unconventional roles, dressing very unconventionally. Shots have become the thing to be wearing in movies. So the transition is amazing how television and cinema have, always kind of balanced in a different way. So you're switching sides all the time.
Rituparna, your perspective as somebody who's come also from regional cinema and very strong roles. I mean, you're one heroine who I think the strength of the women you played has been admirable. Did you choose roles specifically for that? Did you find it hard actually, or did you have many to choose from, especially in Bengali cinema?
Sorry, I must apologize for my voice because it's gone for a toss. Good evening, everybody. To answer your question, it's a very interesting question because the time I came into movies and the time I am in, there's a lot of difference. So I've been, I walked through years so I've seen a lot of changes happening in Bengali cinema, if you specifically say. Previously it was very like, when we go back a long time ago, like when Satyajit Ray had done Pather Pachali with a very, very strong woman character called Shorbojaya. So from Shorbojaya till today, there is a lot of difference happened in the Bengali cinema. In between, the strong roles evaporated and something happened when the heroines were only used as glam dolls. But things have changed again because there's a lot of revolution in Bengali cinema and Indian cinema as well. So now there are a lot of roles which has been written on women. Because in one point of time, women were always written off. Like it is a male-dominated industry and you cannot just find any way for a woman. But now it's not there anymore. But for me, it's been a cakewalk for me, I must say, because I've done the best of roles. And of course, consciously I've chosen, if you ask me. Yes, today I have got a lot of choices, but before 8 years back or 9 years back, I didn't have so many choices because things were still conservative that time. So, it's a very interesting time where, in a very interesting time I came where it was like off and on, like sometimes we used to get the best of characters and sometimes it's only supposedly you are like just an ornament in the film, because since I'm a product of commercial cinema, so I had to delve into that kind of cinema and then see myself in a different light later on. When I started movies, it was like with Chitpatra Thala, it's huge hits where I was like a diva and like a glam doll. But then later on, when my senses prevailed, that is I can do much more. When Rituparna Ghosh approached me with Dahan, or when Paramita Ragdin came on my way with Aparna Sen's film. So then I discovered that, sort of what sort of a person I am and what kind of thing I should personify on screen. So that kind of thing, because I started off very young, so I I didn't have that kind of an understanding also about movies because I don't come from a film family. So obviously there are a lot of things, have, worked around me, like the script, the directors, the kind of cinema made in Bengali that time, everything. But now, as Kiranji said, that lot of transition has happened, and today we are thinking of making a dirty picture. We are thinking of making something like, just recently last year, one of my movies called Muktadhara had been, viewed by the President of India also. That's a great honor for us. Where I play a protagonist in the film, where it's made on the jail inmates, where we have never dared to make something like that, and the hero of the film is a real convict who has acted in the film, and I'm the one who goes there and reforms them, and she, becomes the hero of the film at the end of the day. So you see that heroine becoming a hero in the film concept, it came bit by bit. When a heroine gets married off, she's less written off from the industry. No, she's no more, she cannot be there anymore. But today the scene is not there anymore. And also, as far as the scripts are concerned, lot of new concepts are coming, lot of new kind of cinema is happening, lot of revolution on the film world. So I am just enjoying this space right now.
It's a good time to be a heroine in Indian cinema.
Yeah, of course it is. Because Sudhir ji can give a lot of insight about this because he's making that kind of cinema where, he's giving the women the most powerful roles. And I think the directors are also working around a woman because a woman has got that power. Because today the society is talking about women. Any issues raised by a woman is being looked after right now, and it's been talked about. So it's been there.
So you think that has an impact really in Bollywood as well. So that brings us back to the question I kind of opened with. How much can you isolate? When you look at the phases, because actually you're looking at 100 years, and in a sense you've had very early on very strong women characters as well. It was the rise of the superstar which actually, I think, diminished the heroine in a sense. When you look at the phases or perspective, how would you see that?
I think Indian cinema has kind of moved in fits and starts, and when the filmmaker was in charge, there was the 50s, and when Bimal Roy and Gurudutt and people made films, when Vijay Anand made films, there were very strong women characters. And for example, nobody's made a film like Guide till now, where a woman kind of takes almost like a choice to leave a man for reasons of sexuality, without apologizing for it, and then leaves the other man because he kind of becomes like a leech and exploits her. And it's there has never been, I think one of the most wonderful, for example, in characters, women characters in popular cinema has been Mughal-e-Azam, and everybody says that the last line of Madhubala, for instance, at the end when she says that, the future king of India should not feel that he desired something and he didn't get it, but actually what is she saying? She is demanding her conjugal rights. In a sense, I want that last night with my lover, and so, I forgive the king his whatever, and she walks out, but it's a very strong women characters. And at that time, I don't know, Kiran also, everybody knows that, heroines who were married, Sharmila ji had a wonderful career after marriage. Meena Kumari was married, to Kamal Amrohi and had this wonderful career. So, then I think, when trader companies sort of took over cinema, and and when the commercial aspects of it became paramount and almost just that, then I think there was a kind of retardation which kind of occurred in the 80s and 90s, which is the worst phase, which now the modern filmmakers are kind of reacting to. And those 80s, 90s were really a phase where women were, and so, I think Indian cinema has, in a sense, has been simultaneously very regressive and simultaneously very progressive at times, just
like real life.
Like real life, like if you see, for example, even the films of a director like Nasir Hussain, those films were very liberating for women in a sense, because the hill station was a place where you went away from the conservativeness of those towns to kind of have fun, where you could be yourself in a sense, where you could escape from the conventions of this family and the slots that women were put into. So I mean, it's been quite interesting, the way Indian cinema has portrayed women. And the parallel cinema is often forgotten, and today the discussions are, based, everything is Bollywood. Once Indian cinema was all, Satyajit Ray, and now it's all Bollywood, But it's kind of forgotten the work of, say, somebody like Shyam Benegal and his very strong portrayal of women, of Shabana and Ankur, of Smita and Shabana and Nishant, of Bhumika, which is one of those most, where a woman takes very independent choices and whatever. So I think, there have been very, very strong portrayals, and, in fact, I don't know, whenever the when filmmaking seems to submit to the market totally, in one sense, then, like television when it came in, for instance, the heydays of Doordarshan, for instance, which is where Bunyad begins, which is where even then Mahabharat begins, which is where characters like Udan and, Kavita Chaudhary's serial, where you have these very strong women portrayals. And then when satellite television comes in, where everything is subservient to the TRP, that's when it's almost as if the society, I mean, it's maybe a controversial statement to make, it's almost as if the audience wants a more regressive portrayal, or the mass of, Indian society is more, in a sense, regressive than the filmmaker himself. So whenever the filmmaker is submitting to the demands of the market, a more regressive portrayal kind of emerges, which is, and wherever the filmmaker is in charge, there is a kind of a much more interesting, I mean, for me personally, I mean, I think often people ask me, you have such strong women characters, just because it's more interesting often, and many filmmakers like to portray or tell a story through women, because women understand loss better, women understand being wrong better, women are not always want to be heroic and right. It's much more interesting to tell a story through the journey of a woman. No, that's attracted filmmakers from all time,
I wish more agreed currently, but Kiranji, when you look at that, and really often I find the film critiques are about whether the box office, whether it's a 100 crore movie. And in that sense, when Sudhir made that point about the commercialization, the focus, the look for a heroine and not an actress. We talked about such strong heroines, Smita Patil, Shabana Azmi, but now it became all about what a girl looks like on screen rather than whether she can act, or is an issue of that. Do you think that's also, where are the actresses more than the heroines?
No, I think the films are really driven by heroes. You can sell a film if you have a big hero. So whenever a producer, director thinks of a film, a commercial, big film, he thinks of, who am I going to star? So the subject, the story has to be around the hero. And then the heroine just plays a secondary role. It's also, you can see that the heroes are paid so many times more than a heroine is. It just goes to show that the films are driven by heroes in India, not by heroines. When you're talking of films like Shabana, Smita Patil, you're talking of small films. You're talking of films which were made within very small budgets, and therefore the producer was safe, the director was safe, and they could market these films. But like Sudhir said, even there sometimes they had to use sexuality. They had to use scenes, make a few scenes which were titillating or, exciting, or made the audience want to go and see, oh, what it's all about, let's go and see. So even in that cinema, it's not that a woman hasn't been commercialized or used as a commodity or not sexualized. I think it's the easiest way. It's a quick way, Okay, you have this woman do this sexy dance number, and now we have item numbers, for instance, right now, and it's the item number in a film that drives the audience to go and see that film. Arey wo Chikni Chameli wala gana dekhenge, and they all go, and then they enjoy the film. But this is like, the item number has become like a commercial ad for the film, and sometimes these songs are shot later and just put into the film. They're not even a part of the film.
Different actresses, different and just coming. I think Shootout has 3 item numbers with 3 different actresses.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's a different gimmick that they've started using, but the fact doesn't change.
It's kind of, but you have a point in a sense that when people look for a hero, now even a Nawazuddin Siddiqui has a career, you know. Om Puri had a career, a very interesting one. But when they look for women, they look for them amongst models in Miss India shows. You don't tend to look for actresses from where, at least in films, amongst, say, theatre people or acting schools. The search for a heroine is always, in quotes, the first, you know, then if she does 10 films, she'll learn how to act, but, you know. But the initial search is...
We hope she will.
Yeah, they hope. Some of them do, you know, which is a miracle, you know.
Yeah. Some don't, but I'm not going to ask you the names.
No, but some do, and that's more positive.
Rituparna, but when we talk about strong women characters, and of course, you remember Mother India, you remember Nutan in some of her films as well. When she talked. Also, what happened is that from the mother, sister, the woman has something else. So the woman has evolved. Which are the characters beyond art, cinema, or even the transition? Because we talk a lot about how that divide has now gone between art and mainstream.
Yeah, that's what I was about to come.
But go ahead.
You know, like what I feel is that there's now a mix of both. Like art and commerce, there's really going hand in hand, and there's some kind of blending has happened in cinema right now, and it's no more like a complete arty film or a very commercial film. That divide is, you know, blended much more, and it is like kind of, you know, we have actually seen cinema which is having a mix of both. And just for me, my personal experience, I can tell you, for the last year I had got 3 releases where movies became big grossers and blockbusters, and, you know, it is not really, you know, it cannot be termed as an arty film, or neither cannot be termed as a, you know, sort of a superb commercial film. So I think that thing is getting blurred day by day, and there is a new kind of cinema is happening. Maybe you can tell it is a middle road cinema, or I don't know, I can term it right now. But the producers and directors are really getting interested to make that kind of cinema. And I think the actors, for us, it's a very, you know, for us it's a very difficult choice, since we are like me and like me others, they're very much product of commercial cinema. There is a very difficult choice to be made whether I will be labeled as only like an arty heroine, or I want to be a very much like a peppy commercial heroine. So there's a very interesting decision has to be taken in every film when I'm doing, you know, when I'm listening to the scripts, when you know, every movie is coming to me. So I have to see both the parts, because image, so that sort of an image we are really getting stuck to. But for me, I don't really believe in an image, because I feel that an actor should be very lucid, and she should not be stagnant in any sort of a particular role or any image. But so far as now new cinema is concerned, I feel that there is a lot of happening in that front, that you know, as you said, that Nutan and others who have done very strong roles. Yes, today the strong roles are happening, but now what has happened is that as our lifestyle has changed, as our whole concepts of living has changed, as our, you know, mentality has changed, so lot of identification is happening in cinema right now. Women are identifying themselves in this kind of cinema, so they want those kind of cinemas to be made. As Kiranji was saying, that before it was only the very submissive and the submitting kind of a woman, but today the story is not there anymore. Women are becoming much more independent, women are becoming much more vocal, women are becoming much more, you know, I'm not talking anything negative, in a positive sense. And also women are becoming, you know, they are having their own issues in life. So it's not a positive negative part, you know, it may be a mix of both. You know, women have got a negative part and a positive part. It's not only that, you know, women are only positive and they're only thinking of the positive lines. There is a mix of both. So those kind of grey characters are also being played by a woman, and which has been accepted by the society, because the society is running in that way. The society has that kind of characters which the women want to see in the films. It's not only, you know, when you just say that, you know, walk out of a marriage that you are a bad woman. No, maybe there are issues, there are problems, and which has to be focused, which has to be identified, and which has to be addressed. So women are, becoming very, when we were just having a discussion the other day, that what kind of cinema really people want to see. They want to see their lives happening in the movies right now. So that identification part is happening a lot more than before. So that kind of cinema, people want to see that, where women actually have something to really make a point for, That is what I am right now. I am also working towards that kind of cinema where I can make a point. Where of course, Keen show, where maybe there are some, content where I have to be, really bold. So it's all right now because the wave of the society is right now that they want to see this kind of cinema.
Interesting, because Kiranji, you made that point of sexuality. One transition also was that, and many heroines have talked about this, that they feel now liberated enough to be able to exhibit sexuality. And earlier it was only a vamp who did item numbers, and now many heroines have talked about that, we like doing item numbers, and we like, we have great bodies, we like being sexy, and we celebrate roles where heroine can sleep with her boyfriend before getting married and not be written off as a bad person. And in that sense, they see that as a liberation in the way mainstream cinema treats heroines as well.
See, the vamps and the heroines have merged over the years. Earlier, the heroine was always the good girl, okay? And to get in the sexuality and a bit of titillation, you brought in a vamp. Over the years, they've kind of merged the heroine into that. And so whatever the vamp was doing, now the heroine is doing, along with playing, the girlfriend, a part of it. But the change that you're talking about actually is not really driven by the public, it's driven by money. Now it's driven by money because today everything is about television, everything is about shows, item numbers. And if a heroine performs that item number in a film, she gets to do hundreds of shows where she gets paid fabulous amount to do that item number on the stage, and people come and watch and they enjoy. Now if you had a vamp coming and doing it, definitely the hero is not going to come on stage and perform that number. So what you're really doing is, it's money driven. A heroine does not mind doing an item number because she knows that she's going to multiply that performance and live off that performance for the next 2 years. So the reason is, it's a commercial reason, it's money. And I mean, we are there to make money. It's a profession for these heroines and heroes and whoever, So you're there, and why wouldn't you? Why would you give it up?
So in a sense, Sudhir, when we talk so much about this whole item numbers, its influence, you've heard talks with the IMB ministry may look at censoring item numbers. Do you think item numbers have actually taken away from the art of cinema and the portrayal of women? Are we getting blurred? Is it blurring the real issue?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Kiran's absolutely dead right, See, always, it's like, when we said Bollywood made films which are arbitrary and the 80s, 90s went into a kind of cinema, it was because the music companies suddenly came into being. And when they came into being, there was a lot of money given to filmmakers. So every filmmaker started by making a film about a real issue and then decided, he was getting quite a lot of money from the music company. So 6 same songs came in and the hero started dancing on a train, right? So why did the hero start dancing on a train? It was not for a filmic reason, it was for a commercial reason. And that became the structure of Bollywood, and sometimes much admired and theorized. Right, but so today, the item song is because we are no longer in the film industry. We are in quotes in the entertainment industry, which includes events, which includes endorsements, which includes television, which includes award shows. Now, why does the heroine want to do the item song? She may theorize and say, oh well, my body is my own and I own whatever, and a lot of discussions will happen in academic institutions around it, but it's actually because she gets a lot of shows. Okay. So she's going to the heroine gets paid very little in films as compared to the hero. But the heroine gets paid a lot more for doing item songs and in shows. You see. So therefore, that outside reason, commercial reason is affecting the structure of films. And because it is affecting the structure of films, commercial cinema and popular cinema is becoming so ridiculous at times that in reaction, another kind of cinema is coming into being. You know, I mean, it will destroy itself because it will become totally arbitrary. Therefore, now there is another kind of cinema simultaneously. I mean, I kind of divide cinema now into two things. I mean, and either of them can be very good. They can be what I call entertainment products. That's not movies, that's not stories. They're entertainment products. And they can be very good entertainment products at times. And there are films that tell stories, talk about our times, do things. So both those films today have an audience. Right? So I think when you talk about cinema, you should talk about the other films and leave the entertainment products out of even reviews or something else, because you know they are really not making films. They are having fun. And so I mean even the reviewer kind of looks ridiculous when he's trying to you know, talk about some film as if it is Pather Panchali. It's not. He's not even trying to be, you know. It kind of looks very ridiculous, you know.
That's what the stars say. We don't care what critics say.
But the dangerous aspect of it is, and there is a lot of conversation, do item songs, do this or do. Item song or sexuality or titillation in films does not create titillation or rape or whatever in society, but it corroborates it. It corroborates a value system. It validates a value system. That you can't escape from. So, you know, I mean, and I'm totally against banning anything. So, I mean, we are not getting into that area at all. But filmmakers cannot escape the point that their work kind of corroborates, or a lot of films corroborate the loafer's point of view. The molesters, eve teasers' point of view. Right? It's not creating the eve teaser. It's not creating the rape. Right? But in urban India, it is corroborating a point of view. Just as in middle class television or a kind of bad movies kind of corroborated a woman's place in society, that it has to do with male honor, and women were supposed to be, you know, the honor of the family, and sometimes if they walked away from it, they demeaned the honor of the family, the sister value system, or under the protection of the, so the hero had a sister who got raped, you know, I mean, all those structures just corroborated a kind of patriarchal viewpoint. So that you can't escape from.
In fact, I think that's an interesting perspective, and perhaps we could throw it open now to the audience for questions as well on that, because I think these are all very current issues we are debating as well. So perhaps we could throw it open for questions. Go ahead.
Thanks. This is a question to all three of you. You know, I heard with a lot of interest what each one of you has said, especially Mr. Mishra. So you are absolutely right about the fact that there is a lot of regression happening. But if you look at the demographics... But
simultaneously there is a lot of the opposite happening.
Absolutely, sir. But it's not a question, it's perhaps a question and yet not a question. The demographics of this country, where a large number of people today are between the ages of, let's say, 13, 14 and say 25 to 30. Do you think that the Indian audience today is really ready for female-centric films? Do they accept it? Do they like it?
It's always been ready. It's always been ready if you made a great film. Guide worked to the women-centric film. Actually, I think Mughal-e-Azam is a women-centric film. The main character is who? Pakiza is a woman-centric film.
But in today's date, sir?
Or even today. I mean, I think those are value systems of the distributors and producers and the film industry.
Sir.
They are actually not the, I mean, the audience has always been ready,
sir,
whether in non-mainstream cinema, whether it was as far back as Bhumika or whatever, or in popular cinema, to see a film, if it was made with all the other things that they like in a film,
sir,
and tell us, and the storytelling was what they liked,
sir,
then they were always willing to see films. The only problem today is the heroes of yesteryear had the grace to do women-centric films. Today they don't.
Right.
It's very difficult. If you take on a film which involves a subject around a woman, it's impossible to cast. You have to either take a new hero, or you have to take someone, you know, who's not doing too well in life.
And your whole project, like I said, it has to be then a small project. Your budgeting has to be right. I mean, it's a struggle to release the film.
Right.
It's another thing, once it's released, if the film does well, you make great money. But to release it is a problem.
Also, why does it have to be either or?
Thank
I
you.
mean, Rituparna, why can't we have a film which is neither male or women centric, but just about strong human beings?
They kind of get nervous heroes when there's a strong woman role. They do.
Rituparna,
Ask
did you
her.
find that? Did you find that?
When it is a women-centric film, the men are really, really insecure. They feel that we don't have anything to do in the film, so the pie will be eaten by the heroine, so they are always very dead scared. So even I have seen in my films, and a lot of big heroes, I said, no, let it be. We can do an item number in the film.
No, but it's changing, huh? The younger
Let's do
boys.
an item number in the film.
Yeah, but it's changing. You know, we are in the middle of a very huge change, I think. And I think an actor like, say, a mainstream star like Ranbir wouldn't be scared. I think there's a lot of change occurring. And Vidya's emergence as an actress in mainstream has also been quite, you know, it's very important that Vidya Balan has done what she's done and transformed her career by just taking those very,
Absolutely.
you know.
You know why we were.
But Farhan is now doing a film with her. So, I mean, I'm just saying the younger boys are not insecure. I mean, like a Farhan Akhtar will, like a Ranbir Kapoor will. So, these boys are far less insecure than
Things have changed now in Bengali cinema as well. You know, when I'm doing very strong roles, like very powerful roles, you know, a lot of boys are coming and they say, yeah, we can be a part of the film. You know, if we are giving a little bit of a chance. Maybe they also want to showcase their talent. Because, you know, when a good film happens, everybody gets the share of their focus. So, you know, so sometimes it so happens that the film matters, the good film matters. But so far as this item number is concerned, of course, item numbers may be necessary in the film, but item numbers cannot be a part of history. You know, they cannot just go on and say that, you know, we have done so many item numbers and we are here today to celebrate cinema. So, you know, that kind of a difference is always there. You know, for me, if you ask me, yes, I'm also up for doing an item number, but then that cannot be my only way of, you know, presenting myself that yes.
Farah Khan very famously told Chitrangada Singh that, you know, now that you've done an item number and not Sudhir Mishra's dialogue films, you will get shows, you know.
So I think, you know, that change is always there, and obviously the items, you know, because the item songs are very attractive and they are attracting people. People are coming and watching those films. But at the same time, cinema is also moving in its own way. I mean, cinema cannot be just, you know, like an item number cannot rule cinema anymore. Like cinema and item number can be, you know, it is inclusive.
But you know, I need to say this much, that I think it's throwing the buck here and there. The point is that a producer will make a film that the audience wants to see. So it's the audience who has to decide what they want to see and what they don't want to see. If they start accepting heroine-oriented films and the films start doing well and they react well to it, more and more producers will start making films that are around women, because they know that, oh, these films will do well. So it's not just the producers who need to change, it's not just the directors who need to change. I think it's the audience, their reaction, because we are driven by the audience. We will make what they want to see, you know.
No, but I'm very much agreeable to doing a human cinema. It's not only a man-woman.
Yeah, but you know, you have to write also very vital, kind of interesting female parts. For example, the Devdi image of say, Anurag's image of this woman carrying a gadda to the field to meet her lover. Now, I mean, that's kind of an image which is iconic, you know, I mean, which displays, I mean, it's not obscene, it's not vulgar, it's just so correct and so
real,
you know, urgent and now and so liberating, you know. So if you write characters like a Mahi Gill and then the audience sees those characters, they will become popular. It's all depends on writing and not treating women as you know, boring characters who cannot be wrong. And if you treat women like, you know, the trick about understanding women is to know that they are as capable of betrayal as you are, you know. So if you write the films correctly, then I think more and more films and more and more, much
and
more.
Also, if you see, if you talk about the producers, women producers are coming up with a lot of new kind of cinema. Women producers, like before, it was, of course, if you go back a long time, Shovna ji has produced. She was like, she produced a film called Hamari Beti with Nutan ji casting in it. Then we had a very, very famous prima donna of Bengali film industry called Kanun Bala Devi. She was one of the most sought after actresses of that time. She started a production company called Srimoti. And she produced so many women-centric films from there. That is, I'm talking about 1950s. So, there had been this, then Fatima Begum, of course, who is the mother of Zubaydah, and she had started a company. So, this envisioning thing was always there. It was there, it was living in a woman. So I think that whole impetus actually worked. To talk about, majorly women coming into cinema, the red light area women had, they had a foray in cinema long time back. They had actually put their foot forward, and they have done so much of cinema. If today we actually had those things with us, then it could have been a social research item for us. That British India period, they actually came out there, and they had also contributed a lot into cinema. So I think that mindset, that cinema, in a woman, that whole seed of cinema, that entertainment part was always there. That liberation was there, the reflection of liberating thing was there. So how you modify it with time and age and space and years, that is a different story. But that's the way I see that, how this cinema has evolved through a woman's journey. That is a major issue also.
I'll just take some more questions. So the demographic, I guess, I think the point on younger heroes is well made, because that's Ranbir Kapoor, Farhan all appeal to a younger demographic. Sure, go ahead.
In fact, I had asked for the mic before.
Okay.
I have a question for the panel, and especially taking off from the comment of Mr. Mishra. You said that certain films are only entertainment and the rest are stories. So do you think it's now time to categorize them in the censor or something? Because it's getting very
No. Censor don't bring into this. I'm totally, I think censorship should be banned. So I'm not here to censor anything. I'm not here. I'm only talking about categories.
Clear-cut categorization.
And I think that sometimes it is. I see reviewers being very pretentious with a kind of popular cinema, and they tend to try and treat them. I mean, see, you have to see a Manmohan Desai like a Manmohan Desai, right? You can't see it like a Pathe. I'm saying that there is an entertainment product, and those people are making films for different reasons. Right, so see it for what it is, that's all I'm saying. And don't judge it, don't say where is the story, because there is no story. He's not saying that it is a story, I mean, I'm just saying that. No censor, please. I mean, we are in the edges of the INB ministry.
Entertainment product can also be a serious cinema. Serious cinema can also be an entertainment product. It's not necessarily that you have to always,
No. But there are some films, of course, there are films that can be serious and entertaining. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are films that are made all around the world. Like what we call a film like Avengers. There are films that are franchises. They're products. They sell ancillary things. They sell games. They sell toys. I mean, the films made for a different reason.
Different aspects.
This make films. So because they are often shown in the same theaters, we tend to confuse it. Right, and that's the only category that I was trying to make.
Hello, I'm Anurag. Good evening to all panel members. Thank you so much for the discussion, first of all. My question is to Mr. Sudhir, sir. Sir, I want to ask you about your personal experience regarding the forces of market. How do you prevail over the forces of market when it comes to depicting the women in a manner you want?
What's the last part?
When it comes to the market forces, you have to face them, no matter what. At the end of the day, you are the director. When I want to ask your personal experiences, how difficult it has been for you to prevail over those market forces when it comes to depicting the women in the cinema. Thank you, sir.
Sometimes it's okay, sometimes, I mean, it just depends. You have to be a bit stubborn and making a film with a woman is almost like making a film with a newcomer. So you will have to, it entails sacrifice on behalf of the filmmaker. It entails that you don't get much money, therefore I don't have a terrace flat. It just entails making a film in a particular structure. It entails that, because you have to be conscious of budgets. The reason I've stuck around for so long is because I'm conscious of the budget. So I have to make the film in a particular budget in order for it to work. And usually, you can't, if I made the same film with a big mainstream hero, the budget would be tenfold. If I made the film with a woman in the lead, then the budget would have to be very restricted, but it's changing. And I don't want to get too much into my personal journey because that's not the theme of this topic.
Maybe you can, go ahead with yours, then you can take the mic to him because he's been waiting a long time. Go ahead with your question, then we can take the mic then. Go ahead.
Adawar sir, this is Dr. Miraj Hussain. Sir, my question is this: where you see the women in upcoming 50 years in the industry? And the second part of it is, as we are talking about the economical issues with the women and the men, the consideration of a star. Is a woman will be a star in the upcoming movies in the upcoming years or not?
100%. Will you see women in 50 years? Where you see most in television today, you see, right on top. There will be a lot of women directors will come in, a lot of women producers will come in. It's changing, and it's changing for the better. And I think it'd be a wonderful, what the genie is out of the bottle, and I think Indian cinema will become more and more exciting. Therefore, it follows that the place of women will be, at least till about 10, 15 years ago, I was one of the few directors who had women assistants. I worked with a woman editor, right? So now, even in those, when you talk of women in the industry, you normally talk about actresses, but there are women who will come in everywhere. Now there are about 2 female cameramen, there's editors, there's, so I think all of them will change cinema, and women coming into cinema will change cinema for the better, I think.
And not only actresses, like, designers, graphic designers, editors, assistant directors, everybody is a woman nowadays. Like, yeah.
No, I think they've mainly said everything, so there's no point repeating it. But
Now can we take the mic? Go ahead.
Myself is M.K. Arora. I want to ask one thing. Rapes, sexual assaults and molestation has become order of the day in India. Don't you think that Indian cinema is responsible who has reduced the woman to a mere commodity or item? And
don't you think you are responsible? Don't you think you are responsible? Who is molesting? The cinema people or the audience? Who is molesting? No, you cannot put the blame on cinema for everything. I'm sorry. Why do you go to the theatre to see a film which shows these kind of scenes? Why do you go to a theatre where there is an item number? Why do you go? Don't go.
Ma'am, please do not generalize the thing.
Don't go.
It is a very debatable issue,
If
and
you
I can
do
debate
not
hours
go,
and hours
if
together.
you do not go and pay for the ticket, and the film is not shown because it comes off because nobody goes, we will not make that film.
And I wonder, you all are justifying all the wrong or right reason for commercial cinema, and particularly you are saying you are making everything just for the sake of money. And when it is so, how the rape, how the molestation, how the sexual assault would not
It's
take
my
place?
job to entertain, okay? It's my job.
But you have social responsibility also.
What is your social responsibility? I want to know.
What
is your?
Please do not generalize that.
Are you? If the next person sitting next to you teases a girl or molests, what are you going to do? I want to know. Will you get up and slap him? Will you?
Please tell me who is spoiling the whole phenomenon.
Answer me. Will you slap him?
Who is spoiling the whole phenomenon?
I'm not a moralist. I'm not a guru. I'm not a god. I'm not a teacher. I am an entertainer. Okay? I will make what sells. You should see to it that it doesn't sell.
But some ethics are to be followed.
No, but also to be fair, there is no study or anything sort of just shown that cinema is linked to rape.
Cinema is responsible.
come to that conclusion.
No, don't you think, Madam Sonia,
No, we
Indian
are not
cinema is not
responsible.
responsible
We are not
for reducing the woman to a commodity or an item?
No, I don't think so.
Why do you go and see a
generalize?
woman
There
as
are
a
some
model?
item numbers I won't like, I won't watch. There
आप
are some
TV बंद कर
but
दीजिए.
there are also many.
And I find this very objectionable. I'll tell you. Whenever you show sexuality in cinema, people, I mean, it's first the ire of the censor comes on you, and then you're accused of many other things. It is not said. The same is not said about violence. I find this very strange. This why? I mean. So be careful when you go into this area, and there is no study which shows that there is a direct link between all this and what happens and there is too many TV debates which have now gone on this, which have confirmed this, and spoken about all this, but there is no direct link like this at all.
But I think
so I mean, I'm not holding a brief for everyone in the film industry, but I'm just saying to you that there is. And some of them, I said before, corroborate the value system of the society. They don't create it.
No, that's true, but it is
They
not
don't
a mere
create it.
collaboration. It is not a mere
If you look
collaboration.
at the infamous rape scenes of Ranjit, I think 70s, late 80s, it's not that we found.
No,
people
I
who
want
were
to
not
know.
No, it
I
is-
want to know why is every item number a hit? Why is it a hit? Why do you men want to see those songs? Ban them.
Actually, there is
Ban
no.
them.
Just
But
a minute.
Kiranji, let me
Just a
say,
minute.
often women also watch item songs. Not all of them are bad. Some of them are quite nice.
No,
He's
there is,
objecting.
just a minute. There is no study whether cinema is spoiling the society or society.
No, shut
Is
your
you-
eyes. Tell your son, go out of the room. This song is not good for you. Don't watch it. Don't take your children to the cinema and watch that item song and come here and be moralistic. Okay? It's not right.
Don't you think, ma'am, that Indian cinema creates hypnosis?
आगे चलो यार दूसरा सवाल करो.
Cinema is cinema, depiction of life. The life is about everything.
First of all, thank you so much. Anyways, just talk about the cinema and portraying women and men also. There are so many issues. It's kind of a debate going on. But I must say, Indian cinema is doing a good job. And jahan pe, wherever, like we are watching such movies like commercial movies, Agnipath, it's like not the dialogues are hit, not the characterization are hit, but Chikni Chameli is quite hit. And we are the people who are making it hit. So it's more like we are the people, what we want to see, and what they are the people, what they are delivering to us. And someone was saying 13 years old, 14 years old, people, kids are going to watch such movies, but I must say censor board is there and they are rating A, U. It has some definition, so I guess we should stop our kids and we should teach the good things to our kids. Thank you so much.
Yes, hello. ये सारे अगर आइटम नंबर वगैरह सब कह रहे हैं, ये करोड़ों साल पहले जो एक साबित चीज़ हुई थी उसकी वजह से सारा ये अभी तक चल रहा है सारा। ये आप पूछ सकते हैं, हम क्रिंज वगैरह महाभारत वगैरह आपने पढ़ी हो, दक्ष ऋषि वगैरह का पढ़ा हो, कुछ याद पड़ता हो तो आपको ये उसी का कारण है कि आज सारे कोई आइटम नंबर बता रहा है तो भी कुछ बता रहा है। आपका इस क्वेश्चन की तरफ ध्यान है कुछ ही नहीं।
Joining us this evening. It was wonderful to have all of you here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just before the panelists leave, I would request So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of, I think, a very powerful discussion here. We'd once again like to thank all our panelists and our moderators. Meanwhile, our next session in this auditorium will begin at 7:30 when we'll be screening the famous film Pakiza. So please do join us at 7:30 for the film screening. Thank you.